Before the thing I am about to show you existed, connecting AI to the real world was a nightmare of wasted effort. Imagine you have 3 AI apps: a chatbot, a coding assistant, and a research tool. And you want each of them to reach 3 things: your email, your database, and your company's documents. That is 9 separate integrations you have to build and maintain by hand. Now scale that up to hundreds of AI apps and thousands of tools, and you get an exploding mess that was genuinely holding the whole industry back. The fix is a single open standard called the Model Context Protocol, or MCP, and in the last year it has quietly become one of the most important pieces of plumbing in all of AI. Quick note before we dig in: if you find this useful, subscribe and drop a topic you want explained in the comments. Now, let us get into it. So here's the entire idea in one sentence. MCP is a universal protocol that lets any AI application connect to any tool or data source through one shared standard instead of a custom integration for every single pair. If you have ever plugged a USB-C cable into a laptop, a phone, and a monitor without thinking twice, you already understand the goal. One connector, and everything just speaks it. Before USB, every device needed its own special cable and its own special port. MCP is trying to be the USB-C of AI tools. And here's how you know it actually worked. MCP was introduced by Anthropic, the company behind Claude, in November of 2024. Normally, when one company launches a standard, its rivals ignore it out of pride. That is not what happened this time. By March of 2025, OpenAI officially adopted MCP across its products, including the ChatGPT desktop app. A month later, Google confirmed support in its Gemini models. And in December of 2025, Anthropic handed the protocol to a vendor-neutral group called the Agentic AI Foundation, with OpenAI, Google, Microsoft, and Amazon all backing it. When fierce competitors all agree on one standard, that is the clearest possible sign it solved a real problem. The design actually borrows a proven idea from everyday software development, called the Language Server Protocol. Years ago, every code editor had to build its own custom support for every programming language. It was the exact same exploding mess. Then one protocol let any editors support any language, and the whole ecosystem suddenly clicked together. MCP does precisely that for AI. It changes the math from multiplication to addition. Instead of apps times tools, which explodes, you get apps plus tools, which scales calmly. So how does it work under the hood? MCP uses a simple design with 3 roles. The host is the AI application you are actually using, like Claude Desktop, the ChatGPT desktop app, or your code editor. Inside that host sits a client, which is just the connector. And on the other end is a server, a small program that exposes some tool or some data to the AI. The host and the server talk using a standard messaging format called JSON Remote Procedure Call, but you almost never need to think about that. What matters is what a server is allowed to offer. And this is the part truly worth remembering. Every MCP server can offer 3 kinds of things. The first is tools. These are actions the model can take, like running a database query, creating a file, or sending a message. The second is resources. These are read-only pieces of data the AI can pull in, like the contents of a document, a record from a database, or a page from your company wiki. And the third is prompts. These are ready-made templates a person can trigger, like a one-click summarize this pull request workflow. Let me make that concrete. A GitHub server might expose a tool to open an issue, a resource to read a file from your repository, and a prompt to review the latest changes. You connect that one server, and instantly every MCP-compatible AI app can do all of it, with 0 custom code on your side. An MCP server can live in 2 places. It can run locally, right on your own machine, which is how your code editor safely reaches your private files. Or it can run remotely as a hosted service that many people connect to over the internet. The newer versions of the protocol made that remote path much smoother, and that is exactly what is pushing MCP from a clever local developer trick into serious company infrastructure. Now, one important word of caution, because this part is easy to skip and dangerous to ignore. An MCP tool can run real code and touch real data, so the protocol is built around consent. A well-designed host has to ask for your permission before it runs a tool or shares your information, and you should only ever connect servers you genuinely trust. The convenience here is enormous, but so is the responsibility. Treat an MCP server like any other piece of software you choose to install. So how do people actually use this day to day? It depends entirely on who you are. As an individual, you can install a ready-made server from the public registry into Claude Desktop or your code editor and instantly let the AI read your files, search your GitHub, or query your database. As a startup, you can wrap your own product as an MCP server so that almost overnight every AI app on the market can plug into your service. That is free distribution you barely have to work for. And as an enterprise, a bank, or a hospital, you can run a single governed MCP layer with logins, permissions, and audit trails so that all of your internal AI tools reach your internal systems through one safe, monitored doorway instead of 100 leaky one-off connections. And this is all still moving quickly. Through 2026, the protocol is growing toward long-running tasks, richer app-like experiences inside your AI tools, and serious enterprise features like single sign-on and audit logging. The direction could not be clearer. MCP is becoming the standard wiring that connects the entire world of AI tools together. So let us bring it home. A couple of episodes ago, we gave our agent the ability to use tools, but every one of those tools had to be wired in by hand. MCP is the answer to that exact problem. It is the universal standard that turns any tool or data source into something any AI can simply plug into, the same way USB-C turned a drawer full of tangled cables into a single connector. We went from an exploding mess of custom integrations to one clean protocol the whole industry chose to share. In the next episode, we build directly on this and look at agent skills and how packaging reusable abilities makes an agent dramatically more capable. That is the core of it. If this helped, hit like and subscribe, ring the bell for the next deep dive, and tell me in the comments what you want broken down next. Thanks for watching.